is a hallucination when it comes to all things AI? You might have heard the term, but what it means is when AI basically confidently lies to you. And it's one of the things that not a lot of people are aware of. So they think that when they ask a question into something like ChatGPT, what comes out is reliable facts, and quite a lot of the time it isn't. So it's really important to kind of understand what it is, why it's doing it, and how we can minimize. There's not really a way to eliminate when using just normal chatbots, but how can we minimize that down? So first things first, why does it hallucinate? Why would it lie? It's such sophisticated technology. Why haven't they kind of eliminated lying out of it? Because it makes it less useful. So one of the main reasons is training data. So what it's used to train. So basically all chatbots have this big brain. So imagine it's a bit like a download of the internet. So the internet has been stopped and all of the information in there has been downloaded into the world's biggest file. And it's been cleaned up a fair bit. They've done a great job of that. But actually in there, we have lots and lots of different quality stuff. So we have things like Reddit posts, we have YouTube posts, we have people's personal blogs, people's personal websites. And then we also have much better quality stuff. So we might have peer-reviewed academic journals, we might have scientific papers, we might have really good, well-researched books. So we've got this real balance of information. So some of it's really credible, although, often driven by opinion, and some of it's just complete personal waffle, or made up or completely out of context. And it doesn't know what good is. It doesn't have a kind of quality standard. It doesn't look at who researched it, what was the methodology, anything like that. It's just seeing it all as text. So imagine that's all being mishmashed together. So that's one of the main reasons. And it's that kind of poor training data. It doesn't really know what good looks like. It's mishmashed everything together. The next thing is it's what it actually does, how it actually works. So in very reductive terms, LLMs work a bit like predictive text. So it's analysing this huge amount of data, it's finding patterns, and it's doing what's called a conditional probability assessment. So it's basically judging what next word do you most likely want. So if it's something like the boy went to the, it's very unlikely to be the boy went to the tiger. It's far more likely to be the boy went to the school. And it's going to have a little point system according to what's the most likely, and then it's going to feed you the most likely next word. It's a very, very advanced predictive text system as well. So it's not trained to give you facts. It's trained to kind of give you a really, really plausible sentence that sounds like a human would. And that's where it really, really excels. It does sound very human indeed. And then the third thing is it's rewarded for sounding really confident. So it would rather say, yeah, this is the answer, rather than actually say, I don't really know the answer there. It never says, I don't know. Have you ever seen a chatbot say, I don't know? I certainly haven't. And you can ask it to do that. I think a lot of people initially think, right, I'm just going to say, if you don't know the answer, say, I don't know. But it really does push back against that, and it's still very unlikely to do it. So what does actually work when it comes to mitigating this problem of hallucination? There's a few strategies you can do. So number one, you can ask it to rate your confidence in its answers. So in your prompt, you can put it at the end of your prompt if you wanted to, just as a sentence, or once you've got your response, you can then say it and it will regenerate the response. What you can say is rate your confidence from 1 to 10 in every fact and assertion throughout this, and let me know any areas that haven't got a decent amount of evidence. So you're asking it to kind of generate a response wherein it's giving you every fact and assertion, and underneath it will have a confidence score. Now, one problem with this is that these models are trained to be helpful. They're trained to be confident. So I've never seen a self-confidence score of less than sort of 7 out of 10, which is a problem, of course. But you'll notice that anything less than kind of 10 out of 10 is probably somewhere for you to look at. So you'll see, say if you ask for a list of 5 facts and you see that 3 of them are 10 out of 10, brilliant. And then you've got 2 that are kind of 8s and 7s, definitely dig deeper into those and saying, why is this? So think of it as this interaction in this question. The next one, which is a bit more robust, is asking it to give citations for every single assertion. So just say, every time you give me a fact, every time you give me an opinion, make sure that you're giving me the exact place where you've got that information from as a clickable hyperlink. So I, as a human, can go in and I can click and make sure. Even better than that would be to say, give me 3 sources of credible evidence. Define what you mean by credible as well. So if you think credible is a broadsheet newspaper, or an academic source or a government source, list those sources and just say, don't give me any facts and assertions that you can't prove without 3 of these citations, these hyperlinks as well, or 5 or whatever you want. I think 3 is probably a bit more of a reasonable amount. So it will give you facts, but if it can't back them up, then it's going to be very clear that they're not really solid facts properly, depending on the topic that you've done. And then this one's a bit unusual. So you can ask it, if you really wanted to go for it, you can ask it to generate a response, and then you can ask it to generate another response and another response. And ideally, you're generating hundreds, but who's got the time? But then you get those responses, and then you ask AI to analyze any sort of sources of truth in there, because it's unrealistic that it's going to give the same hallucinations more than once. So you can analyze these responses next to each other and pull out just the truth that came out in all of them. Then you're going to end up with a far more useful response. So even better than all of that, realistically, is you need to have a human in the loop. So a human writing really, really good prompts. And actually, that's one of the main reasons, again, why it does hallucinate. So a reason that I missed off at the beginning, people don't give instructions that are specific enough. So humans aren't very good at communicating instructions naturally. So make sure that you're giving really, really clear, non-ambiguous instructions. So use frameworks like RTCCO in your prompting, which is role, tell it who it should act as, or you are is a really good way to start that. So you are a commercial lawyer with 15 years experience in this area. Task, you are going to analyse this contract for me and pull out 5 key points, 5 key worries or areas for concern. Context would be, I am this type of business, this is what this contract is for, these are my worries about this, this is a tone of voice I want you to write in. Constraints would be things to watch out for. So be careful to stay within UK law, for example. And then O is output. So that's exactly what you want out. So I want 5 succinct bullet points explaining, and then tell me my next steps in 3 to 5 action points. So being really, really specific. So specificity is really, really crucial in prompting as well. So instructing it properly. So make sure a human is in the loop, giving it really good instructions, give it really good documents to refer to, give it the best possible chance of doing the best possible results. And then at the other side, make sure you have a human checking absolutely everything. This is not to be depended on, it's not to be relied on, but with really understanding how it works and what you can do, and using a few of these techniques, you can definitely minimize those hallucinations right down. So best of luck, and let me know how it goes.